And you're like,
She thinks I'm
actually,
Dad?
Perry, I'm Jerry.
Actually, Perry. That's what you sound like.
I don't think it was as beautiful as you sounded.
Oh, it sounded beautiful.
You went pretty elegant with it.
Yeah.
You should see my face. How my face looked like that. I went,
I saw.
I am a surgeon.
Dr. Han.
Roll the intro.
Evening, officer. Is something wrong?
Just keep your hands where I can see them. Routine traffic stop. We got reports of someone driving under the influence. You know anything about that?
No, I'm only under one influence.
What's that?
The influence of Jesus.
It's time for Under the Influence.
Yeah, we don't want to do anything to scare your children.
You're in the speaker seat.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, hi there.
Welcome back to Under the Influence. We're here again with your hosts are here again with you. I am Levi Thiessen, and this is
Jerry Crane.
Ann,
Byron Thiessen.
and the other guy.
Crane.
Jude Crane. Jude Crane.
And we're back.
Jude Crane for all those people that went to school with me.
So,
I don't want to be associated with pink.
again,
Levi does.
How did that get put back on there?
I don't know. You took it off
I
last time.
put it
I
back
threw
at
it.
after the episode. I picked it up.
The
put it back
gag
on.
episode.
Yeah,
Gagasode.
the gag
That's
episode.
what I named it. The Gagasode.
Gagasode.
I said Gagasode Part 2.
Oh my gosh.
Or Gagasode 2. The Phantom Menace.
Isn't that the first one, though?
Yeah.
That's the first
Yeah.
one.
But I just thought calling him the Phantom Menace seemed funny.
Because he's old or what? Like,
No, just like because he's not a menace, so I don't know. And I was also because picturing Gaga as Darth Maul. You know.
That would be
That's pretty
so much
sick.
fun to see.
I would
Yeah.
love that.
That would be incredible.
I want to see, you know, the scene where he does all the flips and stuff, and he goes, and he's just looking, Kubrick stare, and goes,
Or when the shields come up in between them.
Yeah.
And they just
Yeah, and
stand
then-
there. And
That's what
Gaga's
I'm
like,
talking
Standing
about,
there,
yeah.
and it's just pacing back and forth.
Yeah.
While we're all just sitting there, kneeled
Does
over,
his life
like,
matter?
does his.
He's like-
pointing over to Anakin.
Oh, yeah. Does his life matter? And then who would be Obi-Wan? Probably Levi.
The audience.
The entire audience.
Yeah,
is
they're
one guy.
they're all like, no! When we just get absolutely obliterated.
Oh, does his life matter? And then they yell no.
Does his life? No.
no! Crucify him!
Whoa. Who's Qui-Gon?
Who's Qui-Gon?
We are Qui-Gon.
We
No,
are.
the guy in the chair, probably.
Probably, yeah.
Qui-Gon?
Yeah.
We are Obi-Wan. Guy in the chair is Ko-Wan.
Your Jar Jar
Ko-Wan.
I'm Jar Jar Binks.
Wait, so the
definitely
three
Jar
of us are Obi-Wan, but he's Jar Jar?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think
do
you're
your
the
best
fake
Jar Jar
princess-
impression.
Misa stupid.
That's pretty. Yeah.
No, Jar Jar, not Levi.
Jerry is the fake Padme. Byron's the real Padme.
What?
And I'm probably that really cool bodyguard to
Yeah,
Padme
yeah.
who is like the and the leather boots.
Who's
Is
a
it only
total
in that
failure.
first one?
Yes.
He didn't see
Wait.
either of the assassination attempts coming.
You're talking about the, like, with the leather cap?
Yeah.
There's a few, but there's one that I think takes
Dude, you couldn't
prominence.
play that guy.
I think I could if he can be Jar Jar.
Fair. You got me there.
I can just do CGI. You can't.
True.
What can't I do? CGI? It's never been done before.
He got you there. But yours would be a little bit distasteful.
Episode 1.5. Like
Where
the,
Jude
like
plays
the
the-
Lion King. Yeah.
Like the Lion King, where
The
it just
only
follows
difference,
the side
the
characters.
whole movie, the only difference though, is just
Galactic
that you're
Thunder.
playing that guy. It's the same movie, but then it cuts to that guy, and he's like, Madam Amidala, and it's you.
Madam Amidala, we gotta go.
Madam Amidala. Mama Dollar.
Mama
Mama.
Mama, we gotta go.
Hey, little mama.
Yeah, Galactic Thunder.
Looks like we're clipping.
Oh, it's
Oh, I'm
what?
sorry. I'm too close
Yeah, we're
now.
good.
Yeah.
That's good. I'd rather Jude be too loud because in the edit,
Mama.
Mama Dollar. Wait, which one is me again? Oh yeah,
You're
we're good.
Elvis too. Now you're Elvis.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, little mama.
I was going for more Johnny Bravo. Is Johnny
Hey,
Bravo
mama.
the
Johnny
cartoon?
Bravo? Johnny
Johnny
Yeah,
Bravo
yeah,
is the cartoon,
yeah,
and
with-
he's the one that goes, "Mama."
Oh, mama.
Yeah.
Mama warned me about.
We've talked about this play a lot, but in our town, so like people listening know that we did plays and stuff in high school. In our town, I might have told the story already, but I played the the dad of like the main character, the boy, and there was a scene where like I was supposed to come out after like my kids are all eating breakfast and my wife is like preparing breakfast or something. And then I think that they're talking about how all the kids are growing up and the mom's kind of sad and she's like voicing that to the kids. And then I think the kids like leave for school and it's just me and the wife because I walk in and I'm like washing my hands or something. And I'm supposed to say something like, "Well, mama, all your kids are growing up." Something like that. Or like, "Well, mama, looks like all your chickens are leaving the nest," or whatever the line is. But it's to that effect, like,
Hey,
"Oh, I'm
mama."
sorry, but I guess, looks like all your kids are growing up and leaving you." And I delivered it on our last performance because I'm not looking at her when I say it. So I didn't nobody knows. I just went, "Well, mama," and then delivered the rest of the line normally. And it almost tripped up Tatum, the girl playing Mrs.
Oh,
Gibbs.
no.
She was like, afterward when we went backstage, she was like, "Why did you do that?" I almost started laughing. And I don't know why I did it. It was the last performance and I thought it'd be fun and funny. And nobody listening is really gonna, or none of the audience would really notice that difference very starkly. So I just went, "Well, mama,
Well, mama.
looks like all your chickens are
I
leaving."
love
kids are
getting
gone.
more and more disheveled every time that
Yeah.
we did a performance. Because I played not in our town, but or no, was it our town?
Yeah, the drunk was our town.
Yeah, okay.
The second one, you were my son,
The second one, I was a child.
That's
of
right.
Jerry. But
and you were the one. You were Cecil, right?
yeah,
And you were the one that was like, kind of getting into bad stuff.
like that guy.
Yeah, we
over
were
there.
best friends.
You had a bad
He was
influence.
he was tainting my life.
Yep.
Yeah, you had a bad influence played by Jude, and I was trying
was-
to defend you as your father to the town gossip.
You had a bad influence played by a guy 4 years your, junior.
That's true.
Literal
Yeah.
child.
Yeah.
A literal child.
I
on
wish I
stage.
could join the circus like you. Yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
What were you saying?
doing
In
but-
our town.
Yeah. So in our town, I played the choir director, who was also the town drunk, and I had this one scene where I walk through drunk.
Basically
and-
through the audience, like
yeah,
you're
basically
below
through
the
the,
stage.
audience. I have a tumble, and I drop a thing, and I go to pick it up and stuff, and I'm just like stumbling around
Mm-hmm.
while there's a cop that's like, "I don't want to have to arrest you again," and then I run off. But every single time
Then
that
I
we did
run
the
off.
performance, I trip off.
Yeah.
But every single time that we did the performance, I made myself more and more disheveled.
Yeah.
So by the end, my pants were entirely undone and falling. My shirt was almost entirely unbuttoned. And like my hair was going everywhere. Like my sleeves were all undone and it was like flying around. And when I go, I'm supposed to drop my flask and then bend over, pick it up and stuff. I dropped it and it hit just perfectly onto the wood of the gym. And it went straight into the audience.
Oh, I didn't know about this.
Yeah, it went to the front row. So I had to stumble and crawl
That's amazing.
and grab it from under the feet of some people in the audience. And then it was going overtime. So then I like ran backstage like while blah, 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 and trimping, being all flim-flammy. And then once I got off stage, I just did the loudest, most disgusting vomit noise that I could do.
Yeah. I remember. I would often be right there while you were doing it. You'd run off, and I'd be standing there, and you'd be basically running towards me for the most part, and then you'd come off stage and just go, like horrible vomit, like right in front of me, and I'd be like, ah, nice.
You just maintain eye contact. You walk right up to you and you go,
Just looking me in the eyes, and I can't look away. I can't blink. I'm just like,
all right, break a leg, Jerry.
And then I walk out there just white as a sheet.
Yeah.
What pranks did you guys do for your last? Did you guys do any big pranks?
With nothing that could like ruin the performance, like nothing during the
I
performance,
mean,
other than like I said, the
Mr.
line
Bentley
differently.
was a little bit angry that like my pants were like
Yeah,
undone and
Yeah.
coming down.
but like things like that, we would do like where it wouldn't alter the performance in a negative
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
We're like, but it's the last one. Let's have just a little more fun with it. So like I delivered the line in like a deeper voice. And
Because I heard the story from Mr. Bentley that the last time they did 12 Angry Jurors, that they ordered a pizza from Domino's, and the Domino's delivery guy walked on stage.
I've never heard that.
Yeah.
What? That did not happen
Probably-
during our performance.
No, not your performance. This
Okay.
was a previous time before
that
you
would've
guys.
been fun.
They literally like backstage like, hey, can we order a pizza? And they're like, yeah. And he's like, can you deliver it here at this time? And they're like, yep. So they came to the back door, and the jerky, or not the jerky,
The jerky.
Turkey.
the turkey, yeah.
jurors.
Whoever the guy is that brings the jurors in and
bailiff.
jinx them out.
Oh, the bailiff.
The bailiff. So the bailiff goes back, grabs the pizza guy, and then walks him on stage. Is like this, hey, I got the pizzas you guys ordered. Puts
That's
them on
so
the
funny.
table, and he walks off stage. They both walk off stage. And there's a pizza that they're actually having on stage right
Was there
before
anybody
the
in the
half-cut.
audience for that?
Oh yeah, there
must have been.
it was a full
horrible.
play. It was a full play.
That's incredible.
It was
that
the-
would
it
that
was the
would
last performance.
make my day.
Yeah.
And there's
But like if you paid to see a play, and then
Dude,
it's just
it
like
just adds to the performance.
So what they did? So I guess the pizza came and right before like second or the end of the second act. So right before the third act started, and you have a little bit of a break there. That's when the pizza came in. They dropped it off. They finished up their lines, and then the lights went dark, and they grabbed the pizza and started eating it.
That's awesome.
that's so funny.
That's
Mr. Bentley did not like that.
Yeah, I would if I was the director or I was in charge of it, I also would be really mad. Like because people paid to be there and see this show. They didn't come to see Whose Line Is It Anyway or like a joke. Like they didn't come to see the Harlem Globetrotters
Yeah.
of a play performance.
But I don't think it changed anything besides the, like pizza's
not-
here, dropped it off.
no, yeah, I don't think they
It's
did it
not
in the
like
best
Juilliard.
possible
Like
way.
they're coming to WVCS, which is great, and we put
Yeah,
so much
but-
effort into our
Yeah.
plays. But like, yeah, I mean, the plot. It's not like he's coming in and going, "What do you think? You think the kid's guilty?" And then you put the pizza guy on the spot. And he's like, "Yeah," and you're like, "Line."
that poor guy. Yeah. Like, dude, I'm just waiting for a tip,
Yeah.
man.
It's a high school play. That's awesome. I had to. We didn't. I don't think we did any pranks in the play I was a part of, or like anything really, except there was one time.
Lame.
I know. I had to come out at the end of the show as the weatherman again, the old guy with the bowler hat. But I had gone back as the milk boy. I'm supposed to come out on the right side of the stage, but I'm on backstage left. And the scene they're doing, there's no backstage because they've opened it up, and everyone's in seats, and it's like this graveyard. And so all there
Oh, our
is.
town.
You guys
Yeah.
did our town again.
What?
No, he's
Wait,
talking
no.
about.
Oh yeah. You were the weather boy.
I also thought you were saying the play you did without us.
Yeah, and
Oh,
I'm
it was
like,
one
I
of
didn't
them.
know you did our town without us.
I was one of them.
There wasn't a play after we left, right?
No.
I don't think so.
Because there was almost one, and then
Yeah.
And then Jude
Almost
dropped
did the Helen
ball.
Keller story, which is not a joke. Would have been cool.
Yeah, nobody laughed, you know.
no one laughed.
Yeah.
Not even them.
We almost did the Helen Keller story. Go ahead, Jude.
Got it. I had to run behind the curtain while the stage was going on, and there was like this much space. So it was
Yeah.
fun. And then you can see Mr. Bentley was upset with me because he was like, "Hey, why was there two pairs of shoes moving below the curtains?"
Can you say that again?
Why was there two pairs of shoes moving below the curtains in the graveyard scene? Because I had to come out on this side of the stage.
Oh,
And they're
I
doing
remember that.
where they open it up and there's no backstage, just this curtain. So I was like, my feet completely flat against the wall as I could, like try not to breathe so the thing did go,
Why didn't we just have you walk out that side door?
because it was so loud.
Yeah.
Oh, the side door
the
was
light-
very
the
loud.
light
It's,
would
it's
have
a
been
scene
lighted
where there's
in.
like one spotlight
Yep,
and
no,
there's
you're
just
right.
people sitting
and it
it's
has to be
quiet.
super dark.
Yeah.
But like, I did the audio for that, and I didn't see it. I didn't know that he did that whole scene.
Yeah,
I remember-
director notices that kind of stuff.
But I
Almost really
remember,
watched. Yeah.
we did. We had to do makeup for all the dead people because I ended up dying. Wouldn't you know? The
town drunk?
The town drunk choir director ended up dying. Yeah. But
Don't
anyway,
do drunk kids.
we had to do a bunch of makeup with like we did for the last one. We did a little bit of cause of death makeup, but Yeah, but anyway, when we did makeup, we did it to just make myself look pale and everybody really pale. But the makeup that we were using was Ashley's from your class.
Oh.
And it was green. Like, legitimately green. No, not from
My
our
class?
Byron's.
Yeah, Ashley.
Oh,
Ashley,
Bray,
whatever.
I was
Brady.
confused because like there was no Ashley in my class. It's
There
crazy.
was no Ashley.
Yeah, I
No,
still
but
have a
there-
video on my phone of her putting my makeup on for some reason. Like one of the videos and pictures and stuff I have from doing the plays, her like putting makeup on because she was trying to get me to like scrunch up my face for like to make me look like an old man. And she was telling me like to do the blue steel or whatever from Zoolander because I was like scrunching my face and she's like, that's not enough. Think blue steel from Zoolander.
Trying to get all the creases perfectly filled in with gray. That was
I
great.
forget she was in my class. Sorry.
Ouch.
Wow.
What if she listens?
You were only there for 1 year. I'm sorry.
We missed you.
She was only there for
I'm sorry.
1 year?
Yeah, she was only there for senior year.
I think so, yeah.
Or no,
I thought
sorry.
she was there. at
It wasn't.
junior.
Okay.
It wasn't
I'll,
senior.
I'll,
Ashley
defend, I'll
Tisdale?
defend you, Ashley. Ashley was there in kindergarten, first grade, gone senior year.
Ah,
She was gone senior
that
year?
makes sense. That's
Gone
where
and then back senior year.
that's where I remember her.
Gone and Back again,
Yeah.
by Ashley. For
Sorry,
Ryan's
Ashley.
class.
That's actually one of the one memory that Perry and I have talked about. Man, my throat. I'm getting all choked
Getting all choked up talking about Perry.
how she was babysitting my siblings at one point, and she remembers me coming home with my parents one night with makeup all over me, like to make me look like an old man. And I don't remember that. Like I remember there being times where she would babysit my siblings and stuff, and I remember like coming home and being all awkward, like this girl that I liked was at my house, and I had to try and run to my room so she didn't see me. But
and then when you come home with full makeup on, you don't realize
She was like, Mr. Crane, what are you
she's-
doing home? And you're like,
She thinks I'm
actually,
Dad."
Perry, I'm Jerry.
Perry. That's what you sound like.
I don't think it was as beautiful as you sounded.
Oh, it sounded beautiful. Thank you.
you went pretty elegant with it.
Yeah.
You should see my face. How my face looked like that. I went,
I saw.
I am a surgeon.
Dr. Hahn. I have no idea. Like, I only know the base pretenses of that show, but I see it everywhere. The Good Doctor.
Yeah.
Any of you watched it?
No.
Okay.
I think the context to that scene though is that like he must have lost a patient or something.
He's about to lose his job.
I've only
Yeah.
seen just like stills of that or like 2 seconds of him
Yeah.
just
Supposedly, it's a good show.
It's in the name. No, I was just saying that she reminded me of that. How like she's like, yeah, I remember one time you came home from must have been doing a play because you had old man makeup all over your face.
Oh, that wasn't a play, Perry.
that wasn't a play.
Yeah, I was at the local dive bar.
Just some play.
Trying to pass off as 70.
You really pulled it off.
Levi,
If you're
what were
like-
you saying about makeup?
Oh, I was just saying it was weird that it was green.
Oh,
that was
Her
That
pale
was the end of the
makeup
comment.
was like
Like that color green?
it was like chlorine.
Like chlorine
Like the
in
pale
water?
horse, it was like chloros. Like
you made it harder to understand with
Yeah.
the last one.
You said
I get it.
in
chloros.
Revelations in Greek, the pale horse is chloros, the color of chlorine, the gas,
Chlorine
which
gas,
is
which is a green hue.
which is like just off green. It's like the
Sickly.
green in Lord of the Rings, the ghosts in the mountain.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's very green.
That's very green.
But like
it's a paler version of that, but
Yeah.
that transparency.
I think I understand
That's
what
what
you're
he's
saying.
talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
I think.
Interesting.
like the original scene where you see him, but you have to like take a second to look and you can
What's
see
that? A
him.
ghost?
Like that's
Yeah.
Is that Frank?
Is that?
Frank.
Wait a second, is that Frank's in this movie? Speaking of Lord of the Rings, we got a little clip here that Levi had prepared for us.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So there's an incredible game that came out, and it's so incredibly good.
Really?
Like best game ever.
Well, the quality of this clip.
Supposedly, it's
That-
very
that-
bad.
That's high definition.
Oh,
quality
it might
right
be
there.
really bad because you're watching it through Discord.
Yeah.
And not on.
link.
Let's link it.
I don't know if I can go
If
to
you
it 'cause
follow-
it's on.
It should open up.
It should
like-
open. It should give you one access. Time viewing.
Lord of the Ring, Gollum.
It's slightly better.
Okay.
All right, so this clip
So-
is from this new game.
So
already,
it's Lord of the Rings Gollum. It's a game that was like just released, like,
Everybody's been asking for a Gollum video game.
but it's like no one has been asking for a Gollum video game.
no,
I don't.
In sincerity, people have.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was a thing. Like I remember, like when we
All
were in
I've
high school,
heard from
people
the
talking
But I
Maybe
about
it's
it.
don't
that
know
nobody
what
actually
they
wanted
were
this.
actually attempting to do with this
Yeah.
game because it has nothing.
Is this the same developers as
Who developed
Middle
it?
Earth?
No,
It's not WB.
no.
Interesting. Okay,
who did
so
it?
let's watch this real quick. The important thing to understand is it's a game in the Lord of the Rings universe,
You
and
are
you play
playing as Gollum.
Gollum.
And it is in between, like, it's during the Fellowship. Gandalf captures Gollum, interrogates him, and this is him just post interrogation.
Oh no.
What is going on?
If you can't tell what's happening in the video, then you can, because none of us can either.
What in the world?
So he's supposed to be holding onto one of the pinwheels and going around.
Oh no!
That shoulder just got.
I like
this-
how it's getting deep fried. Kind
Look,
of.
look how look at the hands.
Yeah,
and
they're
how they
staying-
flex.
But like he's clearly trying to follow one of those pins.
Yeah.
But he just
He's tracked onto one pin.
and then he tries to mess around with how the character looks.
Oh my goodness!
Oh,
He's
dancing.
dancing.
Help us.
The camera doesn't know what to do.
So the point of this clip is just
So
a
this
testament
is-
to how bad this game is. Like,
It is filled with bugs.
yeah,
Like hitboxes don't mean anything.
Insects, spiders.
And there's just random places you'll jump, and they'll have like, if you fall off the map, there'll be a death box that you insta die. But there will just be sections where you're just trying to make a jump that looks like it's possible, and it'll just kill you midair, where you could have survived the fall anyway. And like the mechanics don't work. The like even moving around doesn't work
Yeah.
right. It's like this is a game from like a PS1 where they're trying to figure
Yeah.
out how controls work and how you want to move around characters.
that's what I've seen a lot of. Like, I've seen so many clips where people are going, "Pay $70 for a new Lord of the Rings game.
Yeah,
it
and
looks
this is full
amazing."
price.
And then they are in it and they're just watching even some of the cinematics, and it's like PS1, like PlayStation 1 era graphics. It looks so bad.
And in order to run it, the minimum specs to get it to like 30 or if you want to get it at 60 FPS
Frames per second.
at 1080p, like, and without ray tracing, you need a 2060.
Interesting.
Which is an
2060?
intense graphics card for
Yeah.
a computer.
Yeah. That's kind of hefty just to run.
That's kind of hefty to get minimum,
Yeah.
like playable.
well, 60 FPS is not minimum.
I mean, if you can go like 30, but like, and when you're playing it, you're also on the lowest graphic settings, and
so it looks like crud.
it
and
looks so bad.
and you have, but it's really, really demanding on your system.
And if you're having troubles with the game, one of the fixes is to go into your settings and turn off Gollum's greasy hair. There is an animation set for Gollum's greasy hair.
Gollum's greasy
Who
hair.
created this thing?
It's
Nintendo.
it's a
look it
German
up.
section of Obsidian.
Oh well, that's
But the thing is,
No, that's what. He didn't even get the studio out. All he got out was, it's German.
no, I said Obsidian.
No, I know. And Jerry.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
your problem.
No, but the funny
Just
thing
kidding.
is,
World War
this
I.
game, it's selling for full price when this is like early access build version of a game.
Maybe.
Like maybe if you're giving it.
I've played early access games that were better graphically,
Like-
worked better, way less bugs, more
it's
fun.
so
I've never
under
played this. but-
optimized. It's really bad. It's super long. It's like over 20 hours to get through.
That's not that long. That's short.
For what the game is.
Nothing
like
but
that's
fetch
if
quests.
you rush through it, and you're literally just going back and forth. And the developers
I've
of
heard
it,
people complain that games that are just over 20 hours are too long, and I would agree for a main story. That's kind of lame, right?
yeah.
20
Not if
hours
it's
is
just
too
nothing but fetch
long?
quests.
Too
I
short.
think it's too long.
Too short. Sorry. Not too
Oh,
long.
but
Yeah.
for this game, because the entire thing is just it's you dying. Like
I guess like
it's
something
and,
painful for 20 hours. Something
and there's
not
no
fun. That's
story
too
in
long.
it. There's a part where if you look over the edge, you see unrendered. It's like little gifs of orcs walking, but they're non-colored. They're just gray little men with
Gray little
balls of light that are supposed to be torches
Ah,
that are just walking like
So
and
if
then
anything, it kinda
phasing in and
seems
out of existence.
Like it's an unfinished, like it's still in the engine rather than still like actually like.
and there's and like the world doesn't matter because there's just it's filled with people, but it's literally just a random person standing there watching. And there's a section of it where they like tried to do lip syncing for one of the characters, and they gave up halfway through a voice line. And like it legitimately, if you go back over and over, it's not a glitch. Like they just stopped.
Wait a second. This is the game where they like spent a bunch of money on hiring people to legitimately translate more Elven so that people could do that. And then if you bought the like definitive edition, you got like more Elven dialogue.
So
like you could pay extra because they had to pay voice actors so much to record everything in Elven.
you can pay extra for DLC, which makes it so that the elves speak Elven.
it's cool.
But compared to the base game, there's no extra Elven dialogue. Because in the base game, they already speak Elven when they're talking to each other, and then when they're talking to you, they speak English.
Well, I saw before the game came out, it said that the like in the main storyline and all that stuff, the Elven is the same. It's just like background noise stuff. Like you'll just be around elves.
From the 4 guys that actually played through the entire game that I watched,
Yeah.
and
It's not
listened to them
noticeable.
talk about it, there was no notable difference.
Interesting.
And you can also full price DLCs to get like
Yeah.
the emotes or
Oh, there's really emotes.
yeah, there's
Isn't it
6
single player?
There's 6 emotes. Yeah.
Single
cool.
player?
Single player, it's literally
Good thing
you
you
press
have
the
emotes.
X button and then he like goes tries to
Break
hit a
dances.
fly.
Gollum hits a sick breakdance if you press X and Y at the same time.
Gollum just dabs.
Yeah. The main thing I've heard is that like
right there.
a problem with a ton of new games is that they're just not they're not taking enough time, and then they're not
Yeah.
taking enough time to compress it. So
And
games they sell for $70 at like 90 gigabytes, and then you get 20 hours of fetch quests, which in video games is essentially when a character will say, "Grab this thing or do this thing, and then come back to me." And then you either grab it or do it and go back to them, and then it's the same thing repeated. And that's like what most of this game, if not all of it, is.
There's a section of the game
unfortunate.
where you have to create a bird. You like take
What?
egg and
Oh, yeah.
stuff and you put it all together magically and it instantly creates a bird, right? And you can use different recipes to get different colors of birds. And then just like a chapter later, the bird's color changes like to black. No matter what you had, it just automatically changes. But like
I forgot about that part in the book where Gollum creates life,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did too.
where he magically makes a bird.
Well, it's not. He's learning from a dark
But-
practitioner,
there's a
bird making.
unique
the CIA.
your choices matter. So you can make choices to, let's say, kill a bug or let it go. Like, these are the moral dilemmas.
Yeah, and the game presents it in a situation where it says, would you rather embrace Smeagol, which is the more human side of Gollum, or
would you
Gollum,
rather
which is the
embrace-
dark and corrupted side?
Yeah.
And so it was sold as this like, hey, make choices and it'll affect the end game. But those choices are, there's literally one that is, stare and look at the horizon for a little bit longer or leave back home. And it gives you a choice of Smeagol or Gollum. Like,
And there's
Yeah.
one, do you want to let this elf get killed by this orc, or do you want to kill the orc and save the elf? Guess which one was which? Gollum wants to save the elf by killing the orc, and Smeagol wants to backstab the elf that's been helping you.
the good side of him.
Yeah.
It's an unfortunately made game.
Yeah, but I just think it's interesting. It was fun to react to the little video there. I think that there's a ton of like hilarious clips, and if this kind of thing interests you at all, I would recommend just YouTube, quick search of like absolute, the best Gollum game fails and stuff. There's some really, really funny videos of just ridiculous like character animations and stuff. But
Have you seen the audio or heard the audio of J.R.R. Tolkien doing Gollum?
No.
I'm pretty sure it's real because there are recorded clips of J.R.R. talking.
no, it's Tolkien.
But there's one where it's comparing his reading of a segment of the book where he does Smeagol's voice, and then comparing it to
Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis, and it's impeccably like similar. It's very cool.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's
That's
cool
good.
to hear it in.
Dude, those
Tolkien's
movies are so good. Did
voice.
we talk about? I know there was an episode of this that we recorded without Levi, and we were trying to get out of here quickly because it was like episode 3 or something, because we were going to Return of the King. I don't think we've ever actually talked about it on the podcast though, but we got to see that in theaters and it was so cool.
Yeah.
To kind of move on a little bit from games, but tangentially related games, I missed an episode of the podcast a couple weeks ago. We've talked about it a little bit. Levi
Big
wasn't
elephant
here.
in the room.
Levi wasn't here, and I mentioned how like I missed it, and Levi, you missed the story. Something happened while I was missing that episode. You guys were recording content, but I was receiving it. I was obtaining content for this show.
Oh, really?
What?
Didn't we
Don't
talk
look at
about
me
this?
like that.
Didn't we talk about this last
Did you
week?
see the way you looked at me?
I don't know. We're about to find out.
What'd you say?
Didn't we talk about this last podcast?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm just telling him.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
going to tell him what it was.
Okay, good.
He
Good,
missed
good.
it.
Yeah.
He gets to find out when they find out. At this point, they already found
They already
out.
know.
So you get to find out right now.
Yeah.
Right then now. Do you understand?
Do you understand?
Do you know how time
Wait,
works?
so I already know.
Yes.
Cool. I already know.
Wasn't it good?
Yes.
Yeah, some
Schrodinger's
stuff
no.
happened that Sunday I was gone.
Schrodinger's knowledge.
But while you guys were here recording that episode, you guys talked about the satellite gaming event. And misrepresenting me aside, you guys were so mean to me. Calling me glue? What the heck? Glue? Just
The
kidding.
glue that holds
Just
this
kidding.
together.
I had fun. What was really funny about that episode is that throughout that whole thing, well, obviously I've already heard it and it hasn't even come out yet because I edit the audio of these. And clearly none of you know.
Yeah,
which is crazy because I've definitely talked about it.
I didn't really think
And
about
so you
that.
guys, from the very beginning, you're like joking about me, like, Jerry's not going to know until this episode comes out live. And I'm just
thought
listening
Tim
to
did
it
the
like
edit.
he edits the video. I have always, for a long time, Matt and I, the guy in the chair, and I have done the audio together before this was video. We would go back and forth and do that. And now I just do the audio, and Tim does the video. So I cut down the audio, cut out anything that doesn't need to be in there. I make the audio sound really good, and then I give him that with all my notes, so he has good audio
So he-
because
but he
so
knows
often the
where-
audio's up and down.
But he knows where to cut,
Yeah.
where you cut, where you didn't cut.
But Tim
Yeah.
doesn't actually do the audio, so he's not allowed to listen to it while he cuts. So Tim just has to get really
Yes.
good at reading our lips because he listens to it in silence.
I send that to Tim. He makes the cuts where I said that I made the cuts. He has equalized audio, so it sounds good. And the funny thing about that, though, is I'm sitting here listening to it. Like 10 minutes in, one of you makes a joke about how, like, Jerry won't know for weeks what we said about him. And I'm just like, yep.
I thought Tim
And then we're getting through it. And at the very end, you guys do some hilarious impression of me or something. And then you're like, send in your impressions of Jerry, everybody. Won't it be crazy when in the Discord, he's just seeing all these crazy things come up and he has no idea why? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to have no idea why. So it was pretty funny. No, but you guys talked about the satellite gaming event, which I was hoping to talk about too, because it was a lot of fun and it was really meaningful. And so I thought we could just lightly revisit that a little bit. I know that you guys already talked about it for a long time, but maybe you guys will have other things to say about it. But I know that you talked about what you got to do about doing the Minecraft build tournament and how cool that was. And so basically, while I was listening through each of you talk about it, I was coming up with all these points that I was like, man, if I was there, I would have said this, or I would have added this to the conversation, right? And I don't remember what all those were, but I'm going to try. So the Minecraft build competition,
Yeah.
super cool. And what I wanted to say about that was just probably something you guys already said, but I loved, and I had like a brief personal experience with those people that you were talking about, the group that won, these really cool kids. And so I thought I'd share that. So at the Satellite Gaming event, for those of you that are listening to this episode and didn't listen to the one before, what are you doing? This is a serialized show. No, not really, not that serialized. But
Right now, it is,
we got to volunteer at an event where there were supposed to be, right, like anywhere between 100 and 200 kids there, and a bunch of volunteers putting on gaming tournaments and free play events and board games and all this stuff for kids in the community to come and play. And it's like an after-school ministry, and this is one of their community events. And if you listen to the show, you've heard us talk about Satellite Gaming. We had a guest on here recently from Satellite Gaming, all that stuff. But we had the opportunity to volunteer. It was a lot of fun. We got to see some kids who know us from the podcast, who we've never met. And so they were coming up and asking me questions. And there was a couple of kids that were like, are the other guys here? And I was like, yeah, Levi's at the Minecraft thing. Byron's walking around. Jude's at the VR. And so they were like, you know, unofficially doing their rounds to do their meet and greet with us.
If I had $1 for every
So-
kid that came to the VR area and was like, "Are you Jude?" and then I had the headset on and I just went like whap, I would have made serious money off the event.
You from punching them?
Well, because I didn't see him because I had the VR
But
headset
they were
on.
saying, are you Jude at that time?
Yeah, and I'd be like, bam, and then
They'd be like,
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that
crazy.
did not happen.
Oh, okay. You kicked Jared?
No, but one of the guys that you were talking about, he came up and like started talking to me and us, and I figured out who
Me
he
and
was.
us.
Me and
that
us?
was interesting.
No, there was other people around, but he was.
I hope
Me
so, or else that
and
made even
us.
less sense. Go ahead.
I guess.
You okay? You got some water in there.
No, yeah, I'm good. No, I guessed who he was because you had said that one of our fans was here.
Yeah.
And he told me who the username was. And I'm like, oh, cool.
Talking about Mr. K-pop star or
Yeah.
Mexican K-pop
Mexican
star?
K-pop star.
He came up and was like talking to us, like me and
Yeah.
some other people. And he was like, oh, who are you? And we were joking about like UTI and stuff. He never said who he was, like that, who he actually was. He was just like running incognito, and we were making a bunch of jokes like about the podcast, but like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the
was-
kid I was talking about, Jared. He's super cool.
No,
And,
yeah, but
he's
he
my
just never
our
introduced
brother's buddy.
Did he not introduce his Discord name or his real name?
Either.
He just was like, hey, I know
He was
you.
just like, oh, I already know you. You already know me. And I'm like,
Oh, that's an awkward position. You're like, yeah. No, what I was saying was,
just cut the whole
it was
episode.
a
at this
tremendous event. It was such an honor to be a part of it, and I'm so thankful that we got to do it. And we talked to Austin on a previous episode about leading up to it, and being a part of it was so rewarding. And I went into it already thinking like, this is the type of thing that I love to do. I love to like make kids the focus of something and like give them an opportunity to either feel special or to do something fun that they get to, like when you were a kid and you do something that, like if you watch things like, I don't know, competitive soccer or well, I guess it's all competitive, but like, you know, professional soccer or whatever game, and then you get an opportunity to emulate that. It's like the coolest thing ever. Or like if your favorite, you know, basketball team is the Blazers and you get to go take a tour and go down onto the court, you know, that would be so cool. And so for some ways, it's that type of feeling, right? For these kids, it's like a lot of them, they love esports. They like Fortnite, they like Rocket League, all these things that are professionally done and in competitive spaces. And this was the opportunity for this big room with big screens and a bullpen full of all these computers for them to feel like they were part of something professional, big, cool, being watched, being streamed online, all those things. And so that was such an honor to be a part of all of that, right? Every element of it, even just the setup and talking to kids, handing them cards about Christian influence, all that. And also just to be like, in some ways, you know, we are old now, older, but we are the old people in that situation. And trust me, they made sure to let us know. And it was like,
Yep.
These are just kids, you know, and sometimes we forget that even like young teens like aren't going to exhibit every good value because adults don't either. And so there's opportunities to kind of correct them too. Like they're in a competitive space and to graciously tell them like, hey man, you know, like shake that kid's hand or, you know, whatever. Right. They were just, you know, in the final 4 of the Fortnite tournament. And something one of you guys said, and I wanted to speak on because I definitely saw this in the Fortnite tournament was like, I think Jude might have said this, but in that competitive space, it was really cool to see the kids like be competitive, have fun, and then when it was done, be like, you know.
Yeah.
And I saw 95% of them exhibit not only just like passive, like fine qualities of competitiveness, but beyond that, be like
Exemplary,
good
like,
sportsmanship.
sportsmanship and- yeah.
Really cool. And then the ones I didn't see it in, they saw it in others, and then they kind of adopted it. And I only saw like one kid that was kind of
Also,
the opposite.
Yeah.
And it was like not even that bad. And I thought like I would have to help facilitate that. So I'm down there like this kid's like, oh man. And so I'm trying to like, hey man, it's okay. You got second place. That was so cool. And you almost had him, like things like that, trying to make him feel better. And then the kid that beat him walks over and was like, hey dude, it was really close. You almost had me, you know, and like shook his hand.
That's
and I was
awesome.
like, and I was able to like, no, I think I'm going to back off. Like let these kids,
Nothing
you
working
know,
out.
let it
Yeah, like-
settle it
Yeah.
themselves.
no, but like let them be examples to one another. They don't need me all the time to do that, right? Like I can just take a back seat. But like going into it, I was thinking like this is going to be so incredible to be a part of something where make kids feel special and hopefully be a good example to them and just let them have fun in hopefully a godly way and be a godly example of it. And that's exactly what it was. It was way better than I imagined. But the thing about the Minecraft team that I thought was great was when I was there, I was helping check people in for the Fortnite tournament. And when people got to the front, like through the front doors of the event, they would like pay for the event and say what they're there for. And, you know, if they hadn't registered ahead of time, they could register for Fortnite then. But then I would check them in. So then they're walking through the main doors of the auditorium and I'd be like, hey, are you guys here for Fortnite? And it was awkward a lot of times because I'd be like, I'd have to ask everybody just to make sure. But half the time people would be like, no, and then turn around and start to walk away as if like they weren't allowed in that room. And I'd be like, no, you're allowed in here. It's not like you have to. I just want to make sure, because if you are, I got to get your name down on this thing and get you a wristband or like get your number on your wristband. And they'd be like, oh, okay. But I felt so bad because sometimes it'd be like, they'd be walking in and you know, like if somebody goes, hey, are you here for Fortnite? You might think like, oh, I'm not supposed to be in here.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of people who'd be like, oh, sorry. And I'm like, no, you're good. You're allowed to be here, which also felt weird to say, like, you're allowed to be here. But so I would have to I got really good at really quickly giving this whole spiel like, hey, you guys here for Fortnite? If not, you can come in and check this out. You know, there's this whole thing, and then give them that, and then they'd be like, yes. Or no.
Yeah.
Drop into customer service mode.
Yeah, that's definitely what it was, which is fine. I do a lot of that. and
They
so-
were kicking people out of the Smash Bros. Area.
Really?
For not being no.
Okay. I'm like, that's defeats the whole purpose. They had audience seating set up. But
Yeah.
I was doing that, and there was a group of people coming in, and there's, you know, this like taller guy. I think he had a hat on, kind of long hair. He's walking in.
Yeah.
And he's got 4 kids with him who clearly look like his children, at least in my opinion. And they're walking in, and I'm like, hey, you guys here for the Fortnite tournament? And they're all kind of shy, and he just goes, no, we're here because they're doing the Minecraft thing. And there's something about a dad who thinks his kids are so cool. And that was the thing I wanted to say about this group of people that I don't think you mentioned. But like when you talk to that dad, I don't know his name, but the kids that won that Minecraft tournament, I talked to them, I knew they were going to win. There was just something about it. Because when you talk to them, that dad was like, my kids are all stars. And I'm bringing them here for that reason because they're so cool. And I want other people to know they're cool. And like, it doesn't matter what it is that they're doing, you know, but like when kids enjoy something and a dad or just a parent in general, right? But I think maybe it's because this is something that as a kid is, I think, more rewarding when you get it from your father because you're getting other good things from your mother, right? But like this dad was just so already, kids hadn't competed at all. So proud of his kids. He thinks that they're so cool. He thinks that like whether they win or not, you can just tell all of that. And he's bringing them to this event and he loves it. And he's not going to take part in it, you know, whatever. He's there for his kids and he's bringing them to do something cool. And because like you can bring your kids to do something cool, but like when you think your kids are awesome too, and like you could just see it, just, I don't know how to explain it, but I just saw that immediately because he was like beaming, so happy. He like gestures to all his kids and he's like smiling. He's like, no, they're going to compete in the Minecraft tournament. And I just knew, I was like, I feel like these kids are probably really good at this, you know, and this is going to be cool. And then I kept kind of like walking over there every now and then and just watching from afar. And then I got a break for a little bit during the day. And I came over just because I wanted to see if theirs was done, because I wanted to see what they had built. I was interested in everybody, of course, but I had just like talked to them for a brief moment because I kind of served as like a greeter too. It was like, are you here for for Fortnite? And when they were like, no, I brought them for Minecraft. I was like, oh, do you guys know where you're going? And they're like, no. And so I pointed them to the right direction. So for some reason, I felt like I had this personal connection with him. And also because I just like psychologically dissected him.
Psychologically dissected.
Not really though, but in sincerity, it was like, I could just see that, right? And I don't know, I think that speaks to a lot of this guy. I think he clearly loves his children. He was proud of them. He was happy to take them somewhere for them to have fun, but also, you know, I really think that he was just impressed with his children. He thinks that they're awesome and he wanted to share that with other people. And I think that that's good. I think that like you should want people to see how awesome your kids are, you know, and you should think your kids are awesome.
He just
and,
wanted the prize.
Yeah.
That's fine.
What, it was like a gift card
Yeah.
or?
It was like 4 like gift cards that were not insubstantial.
Okay. Well, I just think that like there were a lot of things that were good about that
No,
event,
yeah.
and there were a lot of things that you can walk away being like, oh, this was heartwarming, or this, you know, was, you know, whatever, and inspirational, and that was for me right at the beginning. And it was something already that I was like, I was just beaming like that whole time because I loved helping set up and I loved welcoming people and like it was exciting, like, oh, this is going to be so cool. And then that was another thing like right off the bat that I was just walking around like, and I was just smiling. I was like, oh, that was so cute. Like it was so adorable. it was so, what's the word I'm looking for? Like meaningful. No.
Genuine.
There's
wholesome.
a word that people use now all the time that's like wholesome. It was just so wholesome. It was such a wholesome moment. And then they won later and I was sitting there like, you know, and I, like I said, I got my break from the Fortnite thing and I walked over and I was like, which one was theirs, you know? And I had asked which one they had done and I was looking at it and they had made such a cool thing and you already talked about it, but so I won't repeat it, you know, but like whatever. It was just so cool. And I thought that was awesome. And then I got to have some great interactions too with the thing that I was actually volunteering for with the Fortnite thing, which I think, because none of you necessarily did it, that was something that I was a part of that was really cool. And the fun thing about it was that like each of us had these sections, right? Like there was this bullpen of all these computers and PCs and Xboxes and stuff set up to do the Fortnite tournament. And the different volunteers for Fortnite, Austin had us assigned to different sections and different tables. And you know, I just had the coolest section. There was just such cool kids. I mean, they were all great, but like I had decided ahead of time, like whatever kids I get assigned, I'm going to make sure that they know I think that they're the coolest and that I'm like their biggest fan right now because they probably have parents and stuff watching the crowd, but like I'm down there with them. And so I decided to have this mentality of being like, I'm their coach. I'm going to do it. I'm going to be their coach. I'm going to encourage each of them, even though technically they're all competing against each other too. But like I wanted that section to feel like, despite the fact that they're also, if they come across each other in the game, they have to compete.
They have to kill each other.
But like
Eliminate.
I want this to feel like we're a team, a unit. And dude, it totally did. Like specifically the group, because I think some of them were friends, but also like we were just hanging out before the game started. We're all waiting, we're joking around and having fun. And I was like, after the first match, one of those guys got first place, and then somebody else got first place in the second one in like a different group. And so the third match is coming up, and I was like, you guys have got to bring this home. And then Carson, who has been on this podcast, but not since video before, but so some of you guys know him. But like Carson was the on the other side of the aisle, the same section as me, but just the other side of the aisle. So him and I were jokingly like getting into each other's face, like we had
Rivals.
beef.
Yes.
So like we got up in each other's face, and I was like, dude, my kids are gonna whoop your kids. And he's like, no, dude, my kids are going all the way. And I was like, who's got 2 first and second place victories under his belt? They're my guys. And he's like, well, we're joking around with each other. And then we like turned around, and I went back to them. I was like, all right, guys, listen. Huddle up. All right. That guy over there, you see that guy in the gray shirt? I went to high school with that guy. All right? He's always been better than me. All right? But listen to me. Listen to me, all right? You guys, this team, way better than that team. And they're like, yeah. And so like I'm talking like they're a team, right? Yeah. Like this team, we are going to smoke those guys, right? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, all right. That guy's name over there, Carson. I said that at the beginning. I was like, that's Carson. I went to high school with that guy. So then they're like, oh, Carson. And I was like, we are going to put Carson down. And they're like, yeah. And so I'm like, all right, are you guys ready? All we got to do is beat Carson. And they're like, we're going to beat Carson. So great. And so then it was like going into the third match. One of the guys who had come really close to like the final place the first 2 times was like, dude, this is the time. I'm going to make it. I got to get first place. And he like looked at me and he's like, hey, coach, I'm going to do this for you.
No way.
And I was like, do it for you, but thanks. Like, that's so cool. And yeah, let's do it. Like, and then it was so cool. It's everything I wanted and more.
Was that the kid that got interviewed?
Yes.
Okay.
It was that kid. Like, cause he had been so close multiple times. And he just had looked at me as like, maybe he's like, hey boss or something. But
Hey,
it was
boss.
just like,
Hey, boss.
he was talking to me and he's like, hey, and he kept saying to me like, hey, I'm going to bring it home for us. Like it's going to be our team. And it was so cool. And
Getting
then
to
afterward,
share in that joy with like the kids was awesome.
Yeah.
Because the like in the lost art of split screen gaming, since I was sequestered into the Halo 3 corner for most of the night, being able to play with kids who, when they got like a really cool double kill or like a kill, for them, but being able to legitimately be like, oh yeah, I did see that just now because
Yeah.
it's right beside my screen, or see them like
Screen hopper.
we're on the same team.
Screen
Or see them
hopper.
like get blown off a bridge and their character goes flying and they're like, look, and being able to just like participate, because part of it is also they're looking up to the leaders both as like just cool people
Yeah.
and examples, and then being able to share on that kind of puts us on like this same level. And it was really cool to see them. And then when you're on that same level, you can like talk to them. And then when they lose, it makes it easier to be like, hey, here's how you lose well.
Exactly. Like that's the thing I was thinking about beforehand and during is like, we've been them, just maybe not at a gaming tournament, but we've been them, all of us have, as kids, where you're in a situation where you're like, this is cool, I get to be a part of something. And then there's leaders that make you feel involved. Whether you are nervous and so you secretly want to, but you're projecting that you don't. Like that was usually me as a kid. Like I wanted to do something, but I was too shy. But then you have those leaders that just force you to be a part of it and force you to be involved, and you're so thankful for it.
Yeah.
But then also you have like those like late teens, early 20s, and when you're a young teenager, that they're just cool. And so I wasn't going into imagining like, man, I'm probably cool to these kids. But it was like, I know that when I was their age, it was like these guys, when they took an interest in me, it was so tremendous. And like there was a guy when I was that age that I had just got into longboarding and I thought it was really fun, but I wasn't very good at it. And nobody I knew did it. And this guy, his name was Tyler, he was a part of our youth group. One day he just asked me, and I don't know, maybe somebody probably told him that he should do this, or maybe he decided to do it on his own. But it doesn't matter, right? Like I was 10 or 11, and he went, hey, we should go longboarding sometime. And he picked me up from my house and drove me to the park, and we longboarded together. And then he like bought me lunch, and he joked around with me and did all this stuff, but he made me feel special, and also made me feel like, oh, you know what? Like I may be a young kid, but this guy wants to hang out with me, and that's meaningful. And then he got to show me how to do something that I already thought was fun and do it better. And I got to see him do it better than I was. So I thought he was cool. And it was just, it's so cool. And like, that's what I wanted to try and emulate, was like, these kids probably are going to have fun in this. And maybe some of them will feel that way about me that I felt about other people when I was their age. But even if they don't, I want them to just know that like, I think they're cool. And I think that this is so awesome that they're doing this. And I definitely think it went well. I think it was so cool. And I really hope that like there were some of those kids that were like, hey, so, you know, like they wanted to hang out with me more. They wanted to talk to me more. And they're like, hey, like, how, do you work with Satellite Game? Like, we'll ever see you at any of their other events or at their offices? And I was like, well, I'll probably be at some, what?
No. I was just, no.
Oh, just fade away. No, I was like, well, I hope to be at the next community event, but I don't work for Satellite Gaming. And then I told them about our Discord and stuff, and a little bit like how we're similar to them and the things that we're doing. I was like, if you want, you know, you can find me on there. And so some of them like asked me for it, and I gave them cards and then wrote my username on the back of the card so they could like find me. And this one kid was like, yeah, give me your Discord information. So I gave him a card and did that, and he was like, all right, I'm gonna message you. And he was all excited, but yeah. So we talked. I know you guys already talked about it, and so for the listener, it might be beating a dead horse a little bit to hear about this event more. But I wanted to talk about some of the things that I did that I know you guys weren't as much of a part of, and that was huge. And then those kids in I will brag for a second. My team, highest representation in the finals. Almost the entirety of my section made it to the finals. Is that because there were only 30 kids? Maybe. But what?
Did you get the final guy?
The guy that got first place?
Yeah.
No. But second and third were my guys.
No, second and third.
Second and third.
So third place was second and third. One of them was the guy that I was just talking about, the guy that interviewed and said, I'm doing this for us, you know. And then the other guy was the one that was like trying to get a win the whole time and was so close multiple times. And then the guy that got interviewed, though, did get a win once in the qualifying matches. Mm-hmm. And then the guy that won was a guy that I hadn't seen the whole time. He was like from the other like far corner.
He just came in 11th hour.
Yeah, well, he was like an older kid, too. I think like probably a junior or senior. And he was over in the Chapin Jake section. Yeah. And I didn't know that kid at all. I think he was the kid that was sitting behind the camera when, remember, we had that awkward interaction. We're sitting there.
I think so.
It was that guy. There was this really awkward interaction where we're sitting there. I'm convinced he just didn't hear you.
I think so. I don't know.
We were sitting there for the Nintendo Switch tournament, and there's a kid sitting behind the camera, and he went to just ask him a question.
I'm like, hey, just curious. I see they're doing Smash Bros. Right in front of us and on a plasma screen, or not plasma, but just a big screen.
Yeah.
And then they had a projector up on the wall for everyone could be able to see things.
Yeah.
And they were using the cameras to show what was going on. And so I was like, hey, are we going to see the game up there, or is it just going to be here? And he literally looks at me.
After
like I said, hey. He kind of like
Byron's sitting like where I'm sitting. I'm sitting where Byron's sitting.
Camera guy's right where Jude is.
Where the lamp is. He's not that close.
But right around here, looks at me, and I say, hey, are you gonna be able to get the screen up on the big screen with your camera? He literally looks at me and then looks away.
And it doesn't say anything.
Doesn't say anything. And I'm like,
what?
Jerry, did he hear me? Did
that
just happen?
I think he probably heard you and then looked at you, but didn't realize you were actually talking to him. Maybe he thought you were talking to me because I was between you guys.
It could have been. I don't know. But I was like...
But it was so funny. But that's the kid that won the Fortnite tournament. I'm pretty sure. So then later when I saw him walk by, I was like, you again, you.
And then he turned to Byron and went, no, you won't be seeing it up there.
An hour later.
I heard you.
But
I heard you the whole time.
That was the interaction that I was...
Runs into his mom's car.
Yeah.
I had an evil plan the whole time.
But
that's so cool. You get to be part of the pit crew.
Dude, that was very awesome.
I will say, as security, it was nice to walk down in the pit a couple times and be like,
just because you could.
What's going on down here? Okay, cool. I'm gonna walk back out.
I like how
it was also fun throwing you out of it.
That was true too, but I had to throw myself out because you had to call security. It was very confusing.
Like a cartoon character. No, that was, it was great. And I had been told ahead of time, like, if you're part of Fortnite, your job is to get these kids excited about what they're doing. Basically act like a coach. You're not actually giving them, like, coaching them necessarily, but like in the supportive role that a coach does and encouraging them. And that's why I wanted to do it.
Now, I think I asked this kind of last time we talked about it, but what would you feel like if there was a overarching another game night kind of thing where we brought LAN party, we had games and stuff like that, but that we would be able to participate in?
Oh, we'd destroy.
No, I'm not saying against them. I'm just saying, would you be involved? Would you want to do that kind of thing?
Yes, of course.
And how do we set this up?
I don't know. We already talked about it though, and I think that the people from Satellite Gaming are talking about setting one up as well.
So
but
it'd be youth and college and above.
you're saying not one with youth. You're talking just.
No, I'm saying everyone from high school.
Oh,
up.
but we're not competing against youngins.
We don't have to be.
They can be present,
They
though.
could be playing in with us.
Yeah.
Like
So maybe like
So
the
there's
same
not
thing,
a situation.
but there's different brackets.
So there's
like
not a situation like Brian, the senior,
Yeah.
who's going up against this middle school kid that doesn't know how to jump and smash.
yeah, you're saying
I'm
that there would
think-
be two
I'm
separate
thinking-
tournaments at the same event, student tournament and.
no, I'm
us
thinking
tournament.
those just have one tournament. But what you
Oh,
do
then
is
we
like
destroy.
I'm not. That's not the question.
Let's
I'm asking.
finish the.
Let me finish my thought.
Let the man finish.
So we have an event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's invited.
Everyone.
Hey, for hour 1 and 2, we're going to be playing Fortnite.
Okay.
Everyone's able to jump in. Here's the server code. Jump in. Okay. It could be Jane Doe, that's a 12-year-old. It could be Bruce, who's a 35-year-old. Yeah.
Which Bruce we talked about?
I don't know.
No, we get Brian from
Springsteen.
Brian on a PC to come
Yep.
down and play
Caitlin.
Fortnite.
And then, but then we for the couple hours. So the older guys have an advantage because they've played more, maybe. Okay, and then we jump into the next group, where it's or next game for the next 2 hours, where it's something totally different, where the younger ones would probably have an advantage. Minecraft death fight. I don't know.
I think
Build
even
competition.
Fortnite, some of the kids would destroy adults
Absolutely,
for sure.
I would get destroyed. But then have different games throughout the night. Or then you're like, okay, this is the free hour. Next 2 hours of free time.
Yeah.
You guys can play whatever you guys want. Jump into parties, create LAN parties.
Bring out Modern Warfare 2.
Exactly,
Dude.
We just set up whatever.
That
But I just want to participate and have fun.
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna get demolished. My Smash Bros. Skills are garbage. My Fortnite skills are zero. Never played. But
No,
having
I
fun and
agree.
enjoying
That would
those
be a
things,
different
I want
kind
to
of
play that.
Yeah,
I'm
and not
not
even just for the enjoyment that we would get. It would also be cool, I think, for those kids to know, like, to get to play with us too.
Yeah, that's kind
That
of
would
what
be
I'm
slightly
thinking.
different.
You set up a table of 4 people on a team, and it's two older ones, 2 younger ones, and they have to work together. Kind of an idea.
Yeah,
Maybe
that would be
that's an
great.
idea. I don't know. Coming up with
Oh,
crazy.
am I the
ideas.
only one that really got to play alongside?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't get to play at all.
because you were in a free play section.
Yeah.
Technically, we were in tournament stuff.
I got to creatively talk to kids about what they were building.
That's cool.
I had
But-
2 kids ask me if they wanted to play like Uno, and so I played Uno for 1 round. with them.
Nice.
What are you talking about? You played games?
You were playing Uno while there were people committing crimes on the other side of the building.
Yeah.
When you were supposed to be doing
You
security.
neglected.
There was more security than you know.
They were everywhere.
We were undercover.
Some of those kids were security. You didn't even know.
do you
Some of the kids.
Yeah,
They were just waiting
Byron's
for
like
you
got a
to.
guy up on the wall, like, don't you ever come back here.
Yeah, sure.
Don't come back here again. Uno.
He hold
Uno.
Uno.
That was a great
I
Clint
love-
Eastwood impression. By
I
the
know.
way.
I was like, that was a pretty good Clint Eastwood. I don't think Clint
was on
Eastwood would have a
security.
guy up on the wall.
He was
though.
up on the roof holding somebody over the side of it like Batman. Just, don't you ever come back here again.
crime macho, and then dropped him. No, in that hypothetical, is a bad guy. I love this idea. I think it's literally only held back by the extent of like scheduling and people behind it, because you have to have some level of like not letting 15 college guys go up against one middle school guy
Yeah,
in that
exactly.
lineup. So I
And
think
also,
it's
you
only
need
barred by the.
volunteers. So sometimes the volunteers are just not going to
Yeah,
be able to.
it's
be
only barred by
Volunteers.
like.
But if you do the
And
hour
we have
breaks,
to schedule it around Mikey
Yeah.
Noodles being on the West Coast.
That's right.
if you do like breaks in between it and everything like that, then you can have volunteers that are like, I'm running security for this hour, but next hour I get to play.
Yeah.
And then they switch into security.
Yeah.
And then you have referees who are switching out.
Which
to playing.
means you just
Switch
need
the kids
more.
into security.
exactly.
Which means you need you need more volunteers, right? Like for this one, we had 60 or whatever it was.
Just
you
becomes
need like
community.
almost double, and
but
so
what
you
we
can
do,
do it.
But what we do is we drop out some of the like activity fun stuff, like
Yeah.
the activities where they were doing sword fighting, or I don't know if you guys saw it. They literally were having like a fishing game. You get a string out, yeah, you get a stick
had
and a
carnival.
string. Carnival going out, and if you catch a fish, it would have treasure, and you could go over to the treasure booth and get.
Is that
merch.
where-
And that's where like
because-
mouse pads. That's where kettle corn was given.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
Suzy Q.
Well, the reason they did that stuff, I think they should still do it, is because they had like for younger kids.
That was the younger kids.
Because
and for just
I think-
people to have fun.
I know that there were other. I knew some of the Minecraft kids had gone and played games to
carnival
gain
games.
extra tickets.
Yes.
One
And
of the
so-
girls came back with a fistful of raffle tickets.
and that was part of the Xbox.
Yeah.
Genius.
And so
And
like
still
there was a dart
didn't
game
get
where
it.
you shoot a gun and you hit you hit targets and had fun like that.
They
And that
had
was really
guess Guess That Funko Pop game. Did you see
Guess That
one?
Funko
Was
Pop.
that real?
Guess that Funko Pop.
The hardest one that I thought of that I saw was five
Two Truths and a Lie.
not two truths and a lie. Sorry.
Five
Five
lies
yes or
and
no's. It's like 20 guesses or whatever.
20 questions.
20 questions. There we go. It was 5 questions. But you picked a Smash Bros. Character, and then one of the leaders had to guess which character you were after 5 questions. And it was like they asked really good questions. And the kid was like, this is the right answer. And I'm standing there and I'm like, that is a correct answer. But that's not a good question for figuring out who this one is. Get done with the 5, and they're like, oh my gosh, I like have 5 people I could pick right now.
I like that idea.
It was a lot of fun to watch because it's like, how do I deduce who it is on the Smash Bros. Screen? And it was kind of fun to
teaching
watch. It was
critical thinking to children.
critical thinking.
Well, wait, how does it teach them though? The leaders
No, it's the
were
leaders
guessing.
that are
The leaders was the leader was guessing.
Thinking.
The leader was guessing, but the kid is like, that's a good question, or could think of like, that's a good question. Yes, no. Is this a Mario character?
I don't know.
I don't.
Get a middle
I,
schooler
I don't
and they
know.
win
Is
every
Donkey,
time.
Is Donkey Kong a Mario character?
According to the
You
movie.
could say yes, he is.
Wait, does
but you
Mar-
also have a logical answer of saying no, he isn't.
Well, he's the bad guy in the original game, right?
That's the original game, but do you count that as a like they said Super Mario? Like it's in the Super Mario franchise. Then you could be like, who knows?
only on Saturdays.
Only on Saturdays.
Only on Saturday.
But it was- it was
I knew what game. There was a part in it where they were having technical issues. So the guy went out on stage and he was like, "All right, we're gonna give out this prize if you can guess what it is." I knew what it was.
Wow, nice.
What was it?
What was it?
It was.
He doesn't know.
No.
He doesn't
It
know.
was,
I
it was,
didn't know.
No, you don't know. He's okay.
It was Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. That's
Yeah.
what it was. That was the answer.
I knew it too.
What was
Wait,
the question?
I thought it was. This is not guessing Smash Brothers characters.
No, he's
Got
talking
it.
about something else. He
Got it.
switched.
What was the question?
Oh, he was like, "All right, everybody, if you can guess what is the first game that I ever totally completed."
Yeah.
Like,
And
Oh, wow.
And there was a bunch of people that were guessing things, and he's like, I'm not that young.
Yeah.
Like, I'm an old man. And then somebody else was like, Pong.
I'm
And
not
he's
that
like,
old.
I'm not that old.
What is beating all of
There's-
Pong
there's
mean?
no-
Exactly. And there were kids that were like, is it Tetris? Is it Pong? And I'm like, you can't beat either of those games.
can beat Tetris.
You can beat
Can?
Tetris.
Tetris says if you get to 900th level, it launches a rocket into space and the game ends. Because it's a space race.
Well, it launches
game.
a rocket out of
Tetris
North
is
Korea.
the space race.
The world ends.
Tetris is about the space race.
It's a space race, yeah.
I mean,
like, you
it
build-
was
you build
all
blocks?
it was all Cold War.
I knew when it came out. I just didn't know it was about.
You build all the blocks and everything like that, and then at the end it like does a countdown. Goes, shh,
That's
cool. Little rocket goes to the moon.
And then it explodes.
Say
in
North
US.
Korea.
He said
Oh
North
my.
Korea.
Little rocket comes out of North Korea.
But it's Russia.
I don't want to beat this game anymore.
I don't want them to get nuclear power.
Is that
So
going straight for North
Anyway,
America?
let's
back on subject.
try and like wrap this up a little bit. I didn't necessarily intend to, for the rest of this episode, talk about the satellite gaming event, but I'm totally fine that we did. I was glad to be a part of it. I was hoping to just kind of talk about some things I did, and talk a little bit just about why we did it and why we should do it again and why people listening should do things like it. Obviously, believers are called to serve. Believers are called to like serve one another and to serve each other. But we also know like we are called to love one another and be kind. That was a huge thing we talked about with Gaga that first time he was on. But to like serve the widows and the orphans, right? The people who just don't have people or don't have like the things that we have, right? And I think a lot of those kids are kids who, I think anybody at Satellite Gaming would tell you, like the kids that they're serving so often, these kids at public schools, are kids who have parents but might not have parents to take an interest in them, or who have friends but don't have good friends, and or don't have opportunities to do some of the things that other kids get to do. And that's okay, like that's part of life, but it's also good to like foster good relationships in these children, to give them fun opportunities, and to be a loving example of Christ to them. And so I think one of the things walking away from it, it's like not necessarily just this crazy thing that like I never would have learned, but that I was thinking about was like, don't forget that kids are people too, right? And I don't mean to sound like crazy, like Disney Channel profound moment, right? But in sincerity, you know, kids of this age, it's easy to forget about them. And it's easy to go when we're talking about how we should be making a difference in the world, or how we should, I don't mean to, whatever that, you know, put that in quotes, and we should, but like, it's easy to think like we should be making a difference in the world. And for me, sometimes just think about like, I mean, I have a real heart for kids of this age. And sometimes I'm just thinking about like the people I know that are my age who are like living in sin, or I think about myself, or I think about my parents or people of that age. But I don't often think about like, I think we probably do a little bit more often than maybe some people because we're involved in a ministry that's more targeted towards them. But, you know, like maybe for those listening and for us, you know, kids of that age, we had the incredible benefit of being raised in an environment where when we were that age, we were being fostered like by the love of God, by the church, right? By like people who cared about fostering a relationship with God in us. And that's tremendous. But man, like that does give us in some ways some of our own challenges, but it does give us something to build off of that. Like some of these kids that go to public school and stuff may never have. And then they'll go out and be adults. And yeah, they're absolutely still capable of being saved. And like those are the people that you need to minister to as adults, just like anybody else. But like a lot of these kids, if you can give them the opportunity to have something that we had, right, which was this like loving environment and people kind of fostering a good relationship with them, take it and do it. So I think for me, it was an easy yes to be like, yeah, I want to be involved in that event, but it's going to be an even easier one the next time. And I hope that more people get involved, and I hope more people take the opportunity to just like make kids feel special, and not in like a lame participation trophy type of way, but like hey, this is something that we're doing for you. And this is something that we want you to do because we want you to have fun. We want you to enjoy yourself. And we want you to do it with other kids, because right now, like so many kids are just, it's all very, I mean, to use the name of their organization, it's very satellite, right? Everybody's very separated because of COVID, and people aren't getting together as much. And we want them to experience fun competition and games together. And yeah, so take an opportunity to do something like that. Maybe just like mentor somebody. Think about yourself when you were that age, like the people that you thought were really cool, and because they took an interest in you in those moments, like that guy that took me longboarding. You know, I think maybe these kids might move on and think about this event that they went to, if it's the only one they go to, and think about that cool guy with long hair who they told about their, you know, Minecraft build and how he was really nice to them about it. Or that guy that when they asked to play Uno with them said, yeah, I'll play Uno with you. You know, or Jude, you know,
whatever
Jude does.
Yeah.
Jude punched
no,
him
like
in the
those,
face.
that guy that I recognized and then punched me in the throat. No, like for Jude, like those guys, those kids that went, hey, I'm gonna play Halo, this game that came out before I was born, and play it with this guy who's gonna smoke me, but like they thought it was so cool, right? And then when they exploded and went across the map, they're like, whoa, and you were laughing with them, right? Like, I think that they'll remember that. And we have examples like that too that we remember. So just give some kids some cool memories and do it out of love. And that ties into what Austin said when he was here. His verse that he picked was in everything you do it out of love, right? And it's meaningless if not done out of love. And so that was another thing that, like, going into the event, I was like, well, this isn't tied to Austin. And I was thinking about that verse. And it was like, if every interaction I have with a kid is a loving one, then it will have been meaningful. So
every interaction you have with like someone in that age, which our listeners will have had and will have, like, for me, the most important things I've found are immediately make sure that the kid feels seen. Because when I was a kid, the number one thing was just like, I wanted to get the person who's talking to me, who's older usually, to be like, please, I just want you to understand you can speak to me like a human being. You don't have to, like, you know, act like I'm not a human. And then immediately make sure that they understand and transition that feeling that they're looking for, that acknowledgement and being seenness, can be found in Jesus.
Yes.
Just immediately being like, I recognize, like, hey man, I see you, you know, I'm communicating with you. I understand that, like we're forming an actual relationship here, and that feeling that you're yearning after, that you're kind of getting through this interaction, you find in Jesus, and pointing them towards that has been so like, it's just, I found to be the most important thing anytime ever interacting with someone who's younger than you, who's like looking up to you in any sort of way. And that's what we got to exemplify, I feel, so much at the Satellite Gaming event. I'm
Yeah.
really happy with that.
We got to do it again, whenever that next one is.
When is it?
I have no idea.
Shoot.
I thought you said Wednesday. I was like, what?
It's today.
When is it?
It's today.
I don't know.
Oh my
I
gosh.
I don't know if there's like one officially on the books yet or not.
I don't know.
But whenever it is, I'm sure we'll know.
I would
Like-
love to do it again.
Yeah. All right. Hour and 20 minutes in. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for recording today. This was super fun. I'm glad to have all four of us back again. Obviously, we were here last time. Last episode was a long one, and it was with Gaga.
Yeah.
And we didn't really talk about it at all this episode. But you know what? We're still mulling some of those things over. I'm sure we'll be breaking it down on future episodes. I know that during that episode, I literally said, and the next one, we'll be talking about it, you know?
all about that one.
Yeah, but I saw him the other day, and he was talking about it, and he was just so
And then you didn't bring
happy
it
to,
up.
happy to have been on. No, he was just saying, like, you know,
Just happy to be here.
yeah, he was happy to do it, and that he had fun. But we got to have some more guests on, because we're already like 10 episodes in, dude.
Oh my gosh.
And we've had two. All right. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for being here. Catch us on Discord if you want to get more involved in the conversation. You want to talk about the things we talked about here. You want to know about events that we're a part of or we're going to be doing. Go to discord.gg/Christian Influence and you can join. It's a whole bunch of stuff. If you like Christian community, if you like just family-friendly community, if you like video games, all that and more. Christian content by Christians. Soup. Good soup. Good soup.
Good soup.
All that's on there and more. And we are on there. So if you ever want to be like, man, I wish I could just text Levi, you could do that.
Okay.
If you join us.
No.
Oh, no?
It's never
There's
happened
no
in the
rules.
history of
Barrage
mankind.
Levi with messages at midnight.
Yeah.
There's no
You know
one to
what?
stop you.
Hey,
No
do
one
your
can
best
stop
impression of Levi and send it to the Discord. And he won't. Wouldn't that be cool how he won't even know until it's a.
Oh, he edits the audio.
Oh, he's right
I
here.
edit the audio
So
now.
discord.gg/Christian Influence. Just type that into your search bar. Join it and be a part of something awesome and talk to us and talk to other people. This summer, coming up very soon, we're going to be doing an online on Discord Bible study. And I would love to see a bunch of people involved in that. And it can be scary and weird and awkward sometimes to like join something with people you don't know, but it's a great way to get to know other Christians and get to know them well. And to study the Word of God. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope you'll join us. And then if you enjoy the content we do and you enjoy or you believe in like the mission of Christian Influence, like the organization as a whole, and you'd like to support us in some way, one way is you can leave a review or rating on this podcast. We would love it if you did that. Send it to a friend that you think will enjoy it or that it will be meaningful to. Or if you'd like to support us financially, you can go to patreon.com/Christian Influence and you get bonus content. And lately, our bonus content has been absolutely fire.
That's true.
Slack.
It is.
Because
I mean,
for
fire.
the longest time, it was like occasional audio clips from the podcast. But now we've got full on like bonus videos, like little bits from this podcast that get cut. Often go there. And sometimes they're not like ones that have to get cut because they're inappropriate or something. Not that we ever have to cut anything for being inappropriate.
No, never.
But I mean, things that get cut because it's like, oh, this just it feels disjointed from the rest
Super
of the
funny,
episode.
but time constraints.
Yeah,
you
or
know?
it's like, hey, you know what? This is good. And let's just give the Patreon people something good.
Give them what they want.
And,
And, you
uh,
can become one of them.
So lately, there's been some pretty great regular bonus content on there, and it's just fun little videos. So go check that out. All right, that's all of that. I should have done that at the beginning of the episode. That's the spiel. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for being here. We love you very much.
now we can start.
Roll that outro.
I end the program by saying, you've made this day a special day by just your being you. There's no person in the whole world like you, and I like you just the way you are.
That's a good one.